The views shared on this show are my own and not those of Fam Radio. I am not a pastor or trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm just sharing my journey. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and let's grow together.
From Ohio to Atlanta, mixing music and ministry, this is the London Elixir Show on Fam Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the London Elixir Show. I'm your host, London Elixir, and I am so excited to have you here for episode 2. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Just to catch you up, I'm a DJ, music producer, and sync licensing expert with my music featured on platforms like Disney+, HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, ESPN, Nickelodeon, pretty much everywhere, y'all. The list goes on and on. But what really fuels me is sharing my journey, helping other creatives succeed, and exploring how faith intersects with our work in this industry. Today's episode is extra special because I'm not doing this one alone, y'all. I've got an incredible guest joining me. Mogul Mal is in the building. He's an amazing music creator, and we are diving into how his faith shapes his decisions, his career, and his creative process. We'll also talk about how we met, how we've been working together, and the journey to landing sync placements together with projects like ESPN, Trent, and more. Trust me, this is going to be a conversation full of gems. So whether you're looking for inspiration, insight into the sync world, or you're just curious about how faith guides the work we do, this episode is for you. So thank you for joining us today. And as always, I have to give a super special shout out to Fam Radio for making their platform available to me for this show. Shout out to Fam Radio. Thank you so much, John. We appreciate you. Now, before we get into Mal's interview, we have to do our Faith Works segment. If this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you what this segment is all about. The name Faith Works has a dual meaning. First, it's a reminder that faith isn't just something we talk about. It's something we actually have to live out. It's about putting our trust into action and watching how God moves in our lives and careers. But it also reflects my personal faith works, the ways that I let my faith guide my decisions, both personally and professionally. This segment is inspired by James 2:26, which says, "For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also." So every week I'm going to be sharing a snippet from a sermon or some spiritual teaching that's resonated with me, and I'll explain how it applies to life and work. And here's the best part. This isn't just about me. I'm inviting you to reflect, take action, and explore how faith can shape your journey too. This week, I want to share a snippet from a sermon by Pastor Luke Hall at New Vision Christian Church in Georgia. So take a listen, and I'll be back afterward to share my thoughts and how we can apply this to our daily lives.
So God, come here, I'm almost where I'm going. He sends us through process. Yeah, it's still the year of Jubilee, but you got to get ready. If I were to give my 11-year-old daughter keys to a car, she ain't ready for it. The car is ready. The roads are ready, and I can give it to her. But she ain't ready. And I would not be a good father if I gave my daughter a good thing too soon. So a true test of authenticity that I am a good father is I can look at my daughter whom I love and say to her, wait. And some of you are mad at God because God has looked at you and he said, wait. Some of you are upset because you're saying, preacher, you say that this is the year, ain't nothing happening yet, ain't nothing moving yet, it's not manifesting in my life, and God has said to you, wait. He said to you, not yet. He said to you, not right now. Why? Because I'm taking you through process. Come here. When you get tired of waiting on process, you can always go find somebody that's going to give you what you want. But it ain't going to be what you want. Because you have to go through, somebody say it, you have to go through process.
Y'all, there are two scriptures that immediately came to my mind as Pastor Luke was speaking. The first one is Proverbs 19:2, and the NIV says, "Desire without knowledge is not good. How much more will hasty feet miss the way?" And then Proverbs 20:21, which says, "An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end." Listen, getting something before you are ready for it is not a good thing. And I think we have to be more honest with ourselves about what we are and what we are not ready for. Sometimes we lie to ourselves and say that we're ready for things that we would really mess up if we had them. And we know this because there have been times in the past where we have fumbled opportunities, we fumbled people, we fumbled jobs. Like, there's a lot of things that we know that we fumbled because we got them before we were actually ready for them. And until we start evaluating ourselves and our preparedness for the things we're asking for, we really can't be upset when he tells us to wait. I love the analogy Pastor Luke used with giving his 11-year-old daughter a car. Sure, he can, but as a responsible, loving father, he knows she is not ready to drive. She hasn't been to driving school. She's not of legal age. So giving her that car before she's ready could lead to an accident, which could mess up not only the car, but could also injure her. God is protecting us and the blessing by requiring that we go through process. And that's he's protecting not only you, but the thing that he's blessing you with. So whatever it is that you're praying for, whether it's a wife, a husband, money, a certain position at your job, he could be protecting the blessing by making you go through the process. Because if you are praying to be the CEO of this company and you're not prepared for it, you're going to run that company into the ground if you get it before you're prepared. So we have to be patient as we go through the process and allow God to mold us. And that's what a good parent does. So for me, these verses really made me pause and reflect, because I'm not sure what you're waiting on God to do in your life, but I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. When I heard this message, the first thing that popped into my head was money. Honestly, like, that's all I thought about. I was like, you know what? I've been wanting money, like, for a lot of things. Like, I'm trying to pay off some debt. I got bills every month, you know, like, that's it. I think about money like, oh, I'm trying to pay off bills. I'm trying to pay debt. And this is the main reason that I have for wanting more money. But what if God has way more in store for me when he provides the money? Like, what if I'm limiting his blessings by only seeing it as a way to survive rather than as a tool to thrive? So I had to ask myself some tough questions, like, what is God's purpose for the money he's going to send my way? Is it only to pay bills, or is there a bigger plan? Maybe it's to bless other people, make new connections, be an answered prayer for somebody. Maybe it's to invest so I could create some generational wealth. Like, I don't know. And then it hit me. Maybe the reason I haven't received it yet is because my vision is too small. Paying bills is important, and God knows I need him to provide for that. However, it does not help money grow or create an impact on others. So what if God is waiting for me to expand my mindset before he entrusts me with more? And have I really prepared to take advantage of a major financial blessing at this moment? Because to be honest, I know nothing about investing at this point in my life. And if God was to bless me with a major amount of money, sure, I could pay off debt and pay some bills. But how would I really take advantage of that so that I could make the money grow later? So here's your faith challenge for this week. And honestly, it's mine too. Think about these things. What are you doing to prepare for what you are praying for? And what have you done with what you've already been given? These are tough questions, but they're important ones. If we want God to bless us with more, we have to show him that we're ready. And what better way to show him than by doing what we can with what we have already? Now, let's take some time this week to reflect on these questions and start positioning ourselves for the blessings he has in store. Here's your takeaway scripture. Luke 16:10, which says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." And that wraps up today's Faith Work segment, y'all. If you'd like to hear more or the full sermon, search for The Year of Divine Jubilee Part 3 by Luke S. Hall on YouTube. All right, let's take a music break, and when we come back, we're going to have Mogul Mal in the building. You're tuned in right now to the London Elixir Show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the London Elixir Show. I'm your host, London Elixir, and we have a special guest in the studio today. Let me welcome to the show, Mogul Mal. What's up? How you doing?
Applause. We just gonna clap it up. No. We just clapping it up for ourselves, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. How are you?
I'm I'm good. I'm doing great today. Yeah, I had to bring you in here because we work on a lot of music together. We have a lot of sync placements together, but we're also both spiritual beings and faithful Christians.
Right.
So those are the type of people I want to have on the show, just kind of talk about how faith has shaped some of the encounters that we've had, some of our experiences, some of your decision making even, and just let the people hear from you. Right. So first of all, give them a little background on who you are, what you do.
Man, let's see here. I always have to represent. I'm from Oklahoma City, 405, I'm talking about Midwest, South, all that and good stuff, whatever. Music. As a kid, like hip hop has been in my veins. Just a performer, went to school for a performing arts music business, played in a band as a kid, was a dancer, singer, all the things music inclined, right? And then fast forward to college, I always knew, I always have to throw this out there, one of the people I aspired to be like was Master P, just from having his own label, just the artist independence and all of that. And so having that as a younger kid inspired me to even go to college and just learn about business and intertwine music and business,
That's a gem right there, because it's the music business. People like to leave that business part out. It's not just the music.
And just to even lean on that, I was always like, for my crew back at the crib, freestyling, rapping and doing all that, just even from middle school. I was always the one, like, once we got to high school, is having questions about the business. Like, all right, well, what's this paperwork look like? Or what do we need to do this? So that the business has been in me, and it's something I've desired, for. And I always tell people that, in this music search, right, as you're in this journey, for me, it's like the reason why I intertwine school with it is because I feel like you don't have to experience everything, but I've always been on the side of like, I want to learn, right? So that's why I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to school and see if I can do music business together.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's not just about creating a song or, performing a song. You have to have that business together on the back end to make sure you're getting paid. I mean, it takes some sort of business savvy to even put a show together because you're coordinating with the venue and ticket sales and, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, and the thing about it is that, I mean, yes, the best learning is through experience. But when I think both of us can relate to this, we're geeks. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You like learning, you like education. And so some stuff can't be taught, but basics, there's foundations. And so that's what I wanted to go get. Then the other thing is Atlanta has always been on my list, on my board. It's Black excellence. That's number one. And then number two, the music. Just to seeing the bubbling scene since the early 2000s. I mean, it's really been popping since the 90s, but really seeing that surgence in the early 2000s until now. And so that's just a small, brief bit, you know what I'm saying, just to get us where we are.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be talking about some of the sync placements that Mogul Mal has with me. And we'll also be talking about just a little bit about how we met and just some of the other things that we do together. So let's fast forward. So you moved to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta as well, from the Midwest. We're both from the Midwest, Ohio and Oklahoma.
That's the O's. Right. I was just about to say that.
And we ended up meeting, was it 2018? A3C?
Yeah, A3C. Was it 2018, 2017, 2018, somewhere in there?
Yeah, around that time. There's this music festival that, do they still do it?
Yeah,
okay. A3C Music Festival goes on here in Atlanta, usually around the fall.
Right.
And we were, like, I was standing in line, you were standing in line?
Yeah. So London was in line, and I asked, it was me and my boy B Green, shout out to Bryson, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna hold my place for my boy, do you mind, or whatever. I wasn't cutting. I think she thought I might have been trying to cut, but I wasn't cutting. And that's just started, and we just started chopping. Yeah, just started a conversation.
And that's the beautiful thing about being in Atlanta. I feel like people are so open to conversations, especially in those type of environments. Like, you just anything. We hey, can you hold a spot for my friend?
Right.
Then it's like, cool. What you do?
Do what you do. That's it.
Like, oh, I'm a rapper. Oh, I'm a producer.
And that's exactly. And I remember that. I remember that day so well, or evening, because even that day, after we got in, like I said, we talked for like 15, 20, we was in line for a minute, right? But then we just kept coming around and seeing each other and still speaking, exchanged information. And from that point, I immediately started, I think I was already excited as like meeting a woman producer.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and
Yeah.
so then it was kind of like, I never had doubt, but because I've worked with women producers before, right? So it was already, but I still didn't know. So then I was
Had to
like,
go check me
I had to
out,
go check
see
the
if
beat.
I was
Yeah,
fire or
yeah. And not only that, it was the range and the variety. That was the thing. And I was like, oh yeah, she dope.
Yeah.
But even before that, even let's just say your music wasn't good, just your personality and who you are was like, it was for me, it's like, this is somebody I want to connect with and just build with in general.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the personalities click. And I think that, I mean, like, that speaks to, like, you know, the God in people. I
Yep.
feel like it connects when you meet somebody else, just in the way that they carry themselves, in
Yep.
the way that their energy is. You can almost tell sometimes, like, you know what?
Yeah.
The God in you matches the God
Match
in
me.
me.
Yeah,
we
for
could
sure.
work. We could do some work.
Well, that was I was gonna say, like, I mean, we know that a divine, that our relationship or just meeting each other was divine, because you didn't have to you didn't have to continue a conversation, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have just stopped at the point we got in, and then that was it, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
so, like I said, I think things happen. I mean, that's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
That's what faith and belief is, and I feel like, I know for myself, it's crazy, and I know I've never expressed this to you. Around that time, I started making sure that when I go places, I would say, what are my intentions, right? Like, I need to meet these 3 people or these 1 people, and it was a DJ, a producer, and then just anybody. And so that's really
okay.
great. Like,
Oh, wow.
like, so I didn't know that you would be that. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, if
And
I
look,
meet-
little do you know, I'm a
I'm
DJ,
DJ
and a
now,
producer.
I know,
I
right?
wasn't even a DJ then. You met a DJ and a producer in one.
That's funny. That's funny. So, but just having that, it's like I said, I thank God all the time.
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely. Like, because even outside of the music, just like the stuff that we've been able to collaborate on business wise, like with the film,
Yep.
Sink or Swim, and just like any ideas I have, like you're a good sounding board and vice versa. Like, we could just
Right.
bring our ideas to each other. It's really important to have people around you who believe in you and also believe in God's ability to like partner with you to make things happen that
Right.
you're, you know, trying to manifest in your life. So yeah, it's definitely a divine connection. So let's talk about how we started working together.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was gonna say too. I think the other part in that connection is building like genuine, real relationships.
Exactly.
Right, like, because we spent 3 years almost where I'm just inviting you to events. It was
Same.
like,
Yeah, like
it
you
was
didn't
like, well, look,
immediately start creating music.
nope. You
Yeah.
had your Listen to Me release.
Yep.
Showed up to that. So it was all of these things. It was just building on. Once again, it still goes back to the personality of like, oh, she's a cool person. Like, this is good. Or if it's like, if I can help. I remember inviting you to the Rolling Out.
I remember.
Like, yeah, you know, it's like, yo, just pull up. I'll get you in. Whatever the case is. And so,
And make some connections there too.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome.
and I never forget my man Amir. It was either Amir or somebody asking why we hadn't worked together, and at that time it was like, I mean, I ain't got the money, you know what I'm saying? And so, and I never wanted to, like, because you build that relationship, the integrity of saying like, she's an entrepreneur just like I am, like she's created these beats and this music. I need to be able to pay her for this. There's no favors in this.
And that's a good point, because a lot of people get stuck on this whole, we're gonna build together, and it's like, if like that could work in certain situations,
Yeah.
but that does not have to be every situation.
Right.
And I feel like I've always respected you even more for that than people who might have asked me for free beats or
Yeah.
whatever at the time, because it's like you waited until you had the budget and you paid me.
Yeah.
And then, like, because of that, we started creating music together. I respected your work ethic. I respected your talent. I respected the fact that you paid me, because that showed like how you felt about me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when we did start working, it was straight business. There was
Yeah.
no like issues. And we had already established that friendship from going to events to support
Right.
each other over the years, or what have you. I remember even you would you came to the studio to play some of your
Yeah,
music before.
yeah.
And same, like, I had an
Yeah.
artist by the name of Just, who
Just,
I was
yeah,
working with. I
shout
was
out to
playing you
Just.
some.
Yeah,
Shout out to
yeah.
Just, man. And we were playing some of his songs in the studio
Yeah.
that day too. So yeah, like, that is genuine. And people always are like, oh, like, I want to work with you. Like, and I'm like, okay, go buy some beats.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
And I think the thing about that too, what people have to understand is that even you saying go buy some beats is not saying, it's not like a flex or anybody. It's like, yo, like, support.
Yeah.
Like invest
in yourself too.
Like
because
that's
that shows me that, like, if you're not willing to put money into the music, you're not going to put money into your marketing. You're not going to put money into your music video. Like, and if you do, then why am I the one getting slighted?
Right.
Like, so it's like, if you don't even believe enough in your own yourself to put money into it, then why should I partner with you?
Yeah.
By giving you freebies. We're not going nowhere.
So
we're not going nowhere.
That's how you establish it. And what's fun, I'm glad you brought up the session with Just because I think even for me it was like, oh dang, she invited me out to like, you know what I'm saying? Like that meant something to be a part of that. It was like, oh, you valued, you know, like just my thoughts, my critiques, or whatever it is. So that felt really, really good. And it's like, I wanna be there.
Yeah,
you know, and shout out to Jess.
Shout out to Jess. We love you, Jess. We know you're gonna be listening because you're so supportive.
Yeah,
we love you.
Straight up.
Okay, so right now we're gonna take a quick music break, and we'll be right back to talk about how him investing in some beats for me led to him getting paid for some placements later down the line. So we'll be right back. Check out this music. What's up? Welcome back to the show. It's the London Elixir Show. I'm your host, London Elixir. We in here clowning in the studio, y'all. Having a good time. Okay, but where we left you, me and Mogul Mal, we're talking about how we met and started working together, and now we're going to get into our very first placement together, which was Do the Juju.
Man, that's so. What's funny, I love telling this story because I think this was the first time that like we worked like simultaneously together. Like I had to follow a direction from you, right? You know,
I had to produce.
She had to, you know, but I always laugh because she did it from like 30,000 miles away. You know what I'm saying? Like kicking it, big kicking it, like.
Okay, wait. Let me tell this story. Okay, first of all, for those of you who don't know, Do the Juju was a dance challenge by Juju Smith-Schuster, which hit over 10 billion views on TikTok. Shout out to Juju. Shout out to NFL. Shout out to Got Milk. It was a campaign that we did for them, and we submitted music for her, and they happened to love and choose our song. So. Yeah, that went up. That was a great time. And that was our very first placement together where we was able to get some money for the music that we created.
Yeah.
But how that came about, actually, you know, as you guys know, I've always been trying to get into sync at this time. And I was connecting with music supervisors, and one of them by the name of Jessica actually hit me back.
Yeah.
And she was like, actually, you know, I have a brief. If you're interested, you know, I have to have you sign an NDA because you can't tell anybody about it. But if you're interested, you could submit. She didn't know me. So she, you know, I was just submitting. Like, it wasn't like I had it in the bag. She was like, I'm not going to pay you for the demo, but if you land it, you'll get paid.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, bet. So it was for Juju.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about football.
Right.
But she sent me the brief, and shout out to her. A brief is basically a description of what they're looking for. So she was like, you know, this song has to be this BPM because they already have recorded the dance. So we had a video of the dance. We knew the BPM of the song, and we needed to create a song about Juju for this dance challenge for TikTok. So that was the information we had. And, you know, I was like, okay, bet. So I hit up Mal. I had a couple beats. I also hit up Jay Nolan. I sent him a beat. Shout out to Jay Nolan, fire. And I submitted 3 tracks. They ended up choosing 2 from Mal and 1 from Jay Nolan. They ended up choosing one of the ones that Mal submitted. So, yeah, it was just crazy the timing, though, because the turnaround time was quick.
Yeah.
The day that she called me, I think we had to have the song back that very next week.
Yeah. And you were on your way out of town.
I was on my way out of town for my best friend Alex's wedding in Detroit.
And so I remember driving from the south. I was leaving my print guy shop out here. Like I said, I remember, and I'm driving down whatever this road
85.
is. 85. Yep, I'm driving down 85. You actually hit me with both beats, and you was like, this is that one, and like here's these 2 beats, and so I'm driving and listening. I felt like this was like a Thursday because you were about to, because I think it was Labor Day weekend.
Yeah,
matter of fact,
Labor Day weekend. It was a holiday weekend.
So this is Thursday. So now we're trying to figure out like, okay, what do I need to do? She's giving me the information. I'm looking up Juju and all of that. But this is where it gets very funny and interesting. That Friday, so I booked a studio session with my man Stein. Shout out to Stein. Yeah, straight up. And so London is calling me, all the music, all the noise in the background. I need you to make sure you do this. By this time, make sure you do this.
I'm out with the bridesmaids. Like, okay, Jamal, but the song has to sound like this.
I'm like, And I'm like, hey, I got it. Like, and so, but I knew just to let her cook. Like, just go ahead. Just tell. I'm just sitting there, and I'm literally
and he's sending me voice memos like this, and I'm trying to listen over the music in the background of where I'm at. Like, yeah, like that.
so it's so funny is that because I'm sitting now at this point this Friday, I'm sitting on the couch at Stein's, like I said, in the studio, making sure we got these 2 beats and actually recorded this. And we came to the conclusion to take that. Actually, I did a different hook for same verses, but for the second beat or whatever. And then it was just like, you have it and do it. But I thought it was really cool. That we're working. She kicking. I hear all the fun in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Working,
and she's still giving out the she's still producing.
So that's on the clock
for real. And so we had it done. You got back.
Yeah, we got it done in like 3 days.
Yeah,
I feel like it was very quick, and we were able to submit the song, and we didn't hear back though until October. So that was top of September because it was Labor Day.
Yeah,
and then I was home for a funeral.
You was on your way back to.
I was on my way back to Atlanta from a funeral, and she called me when I got to the airport, and I was already feeling kind of down and sad about my friend passing away, and she was like, "Hey, can we jump on a video call real quick?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And she's like, "I just wanted to see your face when I told you you guys landed the placement."
Yeah.
We was like, "Oh." God. I was like, this is great. I needed some good news today. And the fact that it was for the NFL and like my friend who had passed away played football at The Ohio State University when we were there, it just kind of felt like, oh, like.
Once again, that's God. I mean, because think, like I said, I think that's how the spirit works, right? Is that even in down times, it's going to find ways to pick you up. And even if you lose a loved one, that spirit is still there too to show like, I'm going to cover and protect, right? You know what I'm saying? And bring you up even in this season of grief and mourning. It's like, hey, it's still good on this other side here, right? You know what I mean? And I think, and I can't remember, I was just getting back in town around the same time. I remember I was out at a meeting when you called, like I was just getting back. So it just all connected and it felt good. And I think I was more excited I was excited to be a part of it, but I think knowing what you were going through that time, it was more excitement for you. You know what I'm saying? Needing a pick me up of what it is.
Yeah, it just came because that was our very first, that was my second placement ever. I had only gotten one placement prior to that, and it was like a lower budget one, but I was still happy for that. Yeah. That was the second placement ever, and it was big. I was like, oh my God, we landed some big money.
Right. No, the excitement it was kind of like, wow, it was almost one of them things too, even going, we really didn't know what to expect, what to do. We had to keep it, like I said, it's an NDA, could not speak on it.
Right.
Like we literally had to figure this thing out of what to do and hold off for a whole month,
we couldn't talk about it
till it dropped.
Until it dropped. So we made the song in September. Found out we landed the placement in October. It didn't drop until December. The actual commercial. So we weren't allowed to speak about it until it came out, and I don't think we knew really how to prepare to really take advantage of that moment. We didn't know. So the first day it was out, it had 800 million views on TikTok, and we looking at each other like, did you know this was gonna?
I got people calling. Y'all got shirts made, shirts made, like what shirts for what? Like
we
didn't know. I mean,
we didn't know.
And I think the lesson in that is and London and I, we both have to work on this, is that every moment is a big moment. Right? And treat it as such, right?
Absolutely.
Preparation. And so I think we were just in the moment of receiving and being followers of the rules. We far as how do you prepare in this space?
Exactly.
And so if we could share anything for anybody when you get these opportunities, it's all big, no matter just
celebrate
treat it as
every
big.
Win.
Treat it big and be right in the moment of saying, how am I gonna take advantage of this?
Absolutely. Especially because the cool thing about the Juju placement was we kept all of our ownership. It wasn't an exclusive deal. It was only exclusive for the first few 6 months.
6 months,
And after that, the rights came back to us. But even in those 6 months, if anybody else wanted to license it, which they did, they had to come and pay us even more. So we got our initial money for the digital media run, which was TikTok, YouTube. But when they came back and started playing it on ESPN, Nickelodeon, NBA TV, all of those networks, they had to come pay us every time and license that music again. So that was a learning experience for us, and it was also a nice income time.
It was really dope. And even on top of that, I think think it was even the extension part, like even finding out in January, like, hey, they want to use it again over here. And when you start getting people like recording their TV screens and hitting you up and all of that, it's like, oh wow, because you really you don't know. You can't measure what the impact is.
People were hitting me like, oh, I just seen your commercial on YouTube, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it was a great time. So shout out to, again, Jessica with Jim. She's awesome for putting that together. Shout out to God always for making the connections, because she told me I just happened to reach out at the right time. Like the day that we had the call, like I said, we had to have that song turned in that very next week. So shout out to God. Only he knows the timing and people's availability. And she already was looking forward. She said she likes working with female producers and, you know, people of color and stuff like that. So it just kind of worked out. So that's stuff you can't really plan.
At all. That's have faith.
Have faith.
Right? Like, for real. Like,
and be prepared when the opportunity comes. We executed. We wasn't like, oh, dang, next week I'm going out of town for my friend's wedding, so I don't think I could do that. Let me know about the next one. No.
Right. I mean, I think the another lesson in that is that the things that you ask for when God presents it to you, back to that preparation, you have to do it. You have to. There's no excuse. Like, you make it happen. It's like, if this is what you want to do, you ask all the time, and it's like, He's going to provide. So what you go do with it when he provides? You got to go walk. You got to go walk in it and do it. So
there's a scripture that we say in my church every Sunday before offering. Is, now may he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food supply and multiply the seed I have sown and increase the fruits of my righteousness. And it's like he provides seed to the sower. So you have to sow that seed, and then he can multiply it. But if you out here and he giving you seeds and you not sowing, there's nothing he could do about that.
Because it could have easily been like, I'm out of town this weekend, or I'm too busy, or I could have been like, well, London, wait till you get back, or I don't. It's like, nah, you miss out.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
We don't
you miss out,
that.
and you did 2 songs. You didn't even have to do that. You did one to both. I sent 2 beats so you could choose one. You did 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you increasing your chances.
That's it. I ain't trying to miss no opportunity.
Okay.
Like for real.
Exactly. But yes, all right, y'all. So that's Due to Juju. We're going to be right back to talk about one of our more recent placements on a show called Will Trent. I'm so excited. Yeah. So check out some music. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the London Elixir Show. I am your host, London Elixir, and today we are tapped in, tuned in with one of my very favorite artists to work with by the name of Mogul Mal.
What up? We back again. And again.
All right, so we just got finished telling you guys about my relationship with Jessica and how we got the Juju placement. And now we're going to talk about our latest placement on a show called Will Trent, which comes on ABC, Hulu, Disney Plus, that whole bundle. We got a placement on season 3, episode 2 for our song "Make That Money."
Yeah. Gotta make that money, man. That's what insert.
Yes, right. And also, go stream it. It's out right now on all streaming platforms. Download, stream, all of that. Support the artist. Make That Money by Mogul Mal.
Produced by London Elixir.
Yes. Okay, so Will Trent was a different placement for us because it came through a different music supervisor. By the name of Whitney Pilzer. She works for Black and White. Yeah, shout out to Whitney. Love you, girl. If you listening, we love you, girl. Whitney's placements are always cool. I love how they come around. They always God be in Whitney's placements. I know he does. Like, it's too many coincidences. Y'all gonna see on some of the other interviews I do. But how we met Whitney, Mal and I were putting in some work, going to music conferences and film festivals, trying to meet music supervisors. And this one in particular where we met Whitney was the Nashville Film Fest. And what year was that?
That was 2022.
2022.
Yeah. Golly.
Woo.
Yeah.
Dang, time is flying. Okay, in 2022. And shout out to the Nashville Film Festival. That's a great festival for you guys who are listening, who want to meet music supervisors. They have a lot that attend that film festival, and they let you do one-on-ones. So I actually had a one-on-one with Whitney, and it was the last one-on-one of the day. So, you know, she had already been talking to a bunch of people, and we walked in. I walked into my session with her, and we just started talking about random stuff. We did not talk about music at all. We were kikiing and just girl chat and life talk, and it just felt really genuine, the connection that we made. I remember saying at one point in there, like, you know, we'll talk about the music. Like, we can talk about that whenever. I like just talking to you. Like, we just had a really good personal connection, and we just stayed in touch. And that very next year, there was a writer's strike. So we didn't get any placements with her in 2023, but 2024 rolled around and she was feeding. She was feeding. Like we had, because I stayed in touch with her, of course, and was sending her music throughout, you know, the time. And she just started placing stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I'm sorry, I just want to just put in people's brain also is just remember what London just said, that this is 3 years ago. And it was a relationship, you know, and so just being in the right place, right time, having that conversation, and you didn't give up on, even though nothing happened in 2023, you didn't give up on the relationship, right? You know what I'm saying? It was like that.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, and to anyone that's listening and pursuing in music is like delay is not denial, right? And so continue to build with people. That's what genuine relationships are. People get busy.
Exactly.
People like I said, so sometimes it's like, it's not always about what we can do for each other. It's just like, how are you doing as a person?
exactly.
Like,
These
just
are human
feeling off
beings
of that. Yeah.
at the end of the day.
I think that's very important that you didn't give up on that, because initially, and you've spoken to me about this, is like, she's really cool. Like, this is right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so having that, you know, will keep you to remove your feel. Like, we all want to get to it, but it'll take the feelings out of it to feel like, oh, this person isn't paying me any attention or anything like that. You can understand.
Don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal.
Exactly.
So,
That's a
you know,
good
you build on that. So you stuck with it. And once again, time and God just showed us like, all right, it's time.
It's time. Exactly. So she reached out about Will Trent.
Yeah.
And I had never seen the show before. So I immediately went and watched the show. Like the first two, they had 2 seasons out. Amazing show, by the way. Love the show. And just kind of tried to get an idea of the music she might be looking for. She said like they're just looking for authentic Atlanta sound of music. And they were looking for a song about money.
Yeah.
Which we are in no shortage of at the London Elixir Company. Okay. So we already have Make That Money Made.
Right.
And I submitted that along with some. We actually did a new song. You and Maddie B. We did a song called Paper.
Yeah.
Because they had a reference track that we wanted to like, let me make another one. Like we're always trying to increase the chances of placement. So we're submitting multiple songs as long as they fit the brief.
Yeah.
And she just reached back out and was like, yeah, we're going to use Make That Money. And she sent the budget. And I was like, yeah, we'll take it.
So what's even funny about that is that, once again, London, like the positions that she puts me in at times is so funny. I was traveling back from Dallas when this brief came in, and she said, and I was super busy. I had to drive. I was driving to and from Dallas. And I remember her and Maddie, well, she said she sent over the information. She's like, Mal, I know you're busy right now. I know, but if you have time. And my thing is like, and I appreciate and respect that she's always considerate in that. But still, to me, it's like, here's your opportunity. How you go do it? And so once again, for me to be in this space that I always ask to be in, it's like, I have to figure it out, right? I have to figure it out. So I made sure on that trip, in that 2-day span, it was like, figure it out. You know, Maddie had already got the work in. And so when I got back in town, it was just an easy thing to do, but it was just that I have 3 days to do it in the time. If you don't do it, somebody else is, right? Like London's not waiting. She's not like saying like, Jamal, you're the only. She's like, no, I'm giving you this. I'm presenting you with this off the love and what we have, but I'm still gonna go somewhere else. Which is totally fine, but still giving me that opportunity to show up. And so I appreciate that, but I
appreciate you always showing up.
It's just funny. I was just like, here we go again. Like, can I just ever sit and get an opportunity?
And that's how sync licensing is. They'll submit and there's like, the sooner you can submit to a brief when you get it, the better. They might say the deadline is in 2 days. Yeah. But if you could get something to them that day, that's better, because you don't want to catch them when they've listened to a million other tracks that have already been submitted by other people, and they might already find something they like. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of factors in play. So you want to give yourself the best opportunity. So what I did actually, and that speaks to it, because I sent y'all that track and was like, here's a reference track, let's make another one. I made a new beat and but I already had Make That Money, Talk Cash. I had some other songs that we already had about money that I sent to her in the in between time. And I was like, okay, here's some stuff right now, Whitney, but I'm also going to work on something else specifically to match your brief. And she was like, okay, cool. And she ended up going with one of the ones that was in the initial batch. You know what I'm saying? So you just never know what's going to land, but being prepared. And we don't know where that new song that we got, we can land that somewhere else or with her later. You never know. So
I think that's important too to lock in on real quick is the preparation, right? So having, and this is something we talk about, it's like the process is create and wait, but create. Like so we get in these spaces where we may create multiple records, right? So in that preparation space. So now yes, if it's time to create something new, you have that, but you're not lost like, oh, I wish I had this. And I think that's the other thing that we've been able to build over the last few years is London has worked hard enough and has enough information to say we need 15 records about this.
Right.
You know, and so we have, and so if they sit, so even when she told me the song that was picked, I didn't know. I'm singing a whole nother record, and I'm like, I don't think that's it. I'm like, Lennon, can you send me the song? I'm like, oh, because we did it earlier that year. So that's the other thing. You just, and I think it took me a minute. I used to talk to you about this all the time. It's like, we can't just hold on to stuff. It's like, let it fly, let it go. And I think once we get in that space, it's understanding you can do it again. Exactly. You can do it again. You can make another one. You can make another one because it's our art. So you don't want to
be holding tight. Like, nah, we're going to send this one out.
Just let it go.
Just make another one.
Make another one.
And we got a lot. Like doing that has caused us to have a wide variety of music and a large catalog. So yeah, it's like over 100 tracks. Like total, like you alone, I think 30.
Yep.
Like,
no, that's what I looked at. I was like, yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. So I just think overall is what you believe in matters. And as the scriptures say, faith without works
dead.
Is right. So if you have faith, then we're doing the work part.
Exactly.
It's like we don't see it, we don't see it, we don't know, but we have to believe and have that
and just keep because like staying encouraged in the process. Because prior to Will Trent, it had been a minute since we had like a direct placement.
Yep.
We've been getting a lot of like reality show placements and stuff going on in the background, but like a direct placement, like with like the vocals, not just the instrumental. It had been a little minute. How do you stay like faithful and encouraged in those seasons?
Pray. Like I mean, I'm saying like I think that it's just really strengthening your belief, and you just have to really believe. You just have to really believe. And I have the idea. Like I feel like I'm so tapped in. I'm like, God don't play about me, so it's all good. So it's cool. So I've really locked into the delay is not denial. It's like I can sit here and be depressed, but if I do that, then that means I'm not believing on His word that He's going to take care and come through. Like I said, it's never a right now. It's always a on time.
Come on,
right?
now.
Like I mean, that's what it is, and I had to grow to that. Like, you know,
and that's something that I feel like you have to constantly remind yourself of, like, because I done wrote a whole book about quitting my job and trusting God, and sometimes I'll be looking at God like, is it time to go back to work?
For real.
Like, you know, you just got to keeping yourself encouraged and like reciting scriptures to yourself, like affirming yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like you said, praying. Yeah. Because sometimes God might send you a different direction. And one thing about God and me, like, He gonna talk. Yeah. So
you just gotta listen. I think it's reaffirming, right? Like I said, sometimes I think that's why they tell us to stay in the Word as well, is because when we do have those questions, it's tough. Like I tell people all the time, like, nah, you and I'm on the side of you supposed to have questions. Like like that's the relationship, that's the conversation that you have. It's like, bro, what's up? Like I speak, like I said, I ain't gonna go too deep on here on this, but we talk like we the homies. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like what's up? But then I have to fight, like, just keep working, just keep going. I think that's the thing. And then having outside of that, like, have your moment, because you have to have, it has to be linear. It has to go up and down or vertical, right? But then I think it's also surrounding yourself with good people that can keep your spirit up as well. I think that's the carnal, because He will intercede in other people as well.
And speak to you through them. Absolutely, for sure. Because I know if I ain't had my faith, I would have been quit.
Over. Like what? Like
been quit. None of this success. Been quit.
Like, and that lets you know you doing what you're supposed to be doing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in your purpose.
Woo. I know. And hey, hold on, wait. What? So I know we about to wrap up, but we ain't even told y'all about where the scene is or anything.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. Let's get to the scene. Scene. Oh, wait, well, let's take one more music break. One more music break. We ain't even talked about the scene, and then we're gonna wrap up. All right, y'all. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the London Elixir Show. We have Mogul Mal in studio with us talking about the Will Trent placement. So tell us about the scene it was used in.
Man, listen, I know we got to make this quick, But let's wrap up when we actually, after we found out about the placement, trying to figure out what episode it would, where it was gonna be, right?
Yeah.
So we know it's a 2-part season. I done set up. We in our brains we're thinking like maybe they're doing a back-to-back episode. We knew it was episode number 2. So that first week when the show came out, I had a party set up and everything.
Party,
yeah, and then we had to cancel it because it wasn't that episode. And so I was sad, right? Like, but we still knew. So and I'm speaking on this because it goes to our intentions of letting people know what we're doing and how we're trying to celebrate more and all of that. So so that first week it was like, all right, well, it's not there, you know. And then I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of like, well, I'm not going live, I'm not doing nothing. So I had a moment, and then I had to get that spirit back right. It's like, nah, do what you're supposed to do. Yeah. So fast forward to the following Tuesday, head down working. I'm not on IG. London hadn't been on IG.
Yeah, I was working on that too.
Yeah, 5 o'clock. I said, ooh, I should let people know to watch the show tonight, going live after the show. Boom. I go to make a post on IG. I said, let me tag Will Trent in it. And I go to their page to take a clip from there and put in my stories. And I hear the music. And I'm like, is that from my page? Or what's happening? And I'm like, oh, this is on their IG page. And I'm like, I'm thinking it's just like background music, like, and I'm like, oh, this is the scene. This is the scene. So I immediately called. I got 15 seconds through, didn't even finish it. Called London, screaming, going crazy.
Now listen, and I looked at the call because I'd already told
me
him that
like,
morning,
don't call
I'm busy
me
today.
Don't
call me about nothing. I'm working.
Right,
and I looked at the phone
and let it ring for a long time.
I let it ring. I wasn't gonna pick up, and I was like, "Well, I told him, so it might be important. Let me
definitely let it ring. You definitely let it ring." I'm like, if she don't answer the phone, I'm a psycho caller.
But I picked up.
Right. And I was going crazy.
Oh, look at I haven't been on IG. And I was like, no, I haven't been on Instagram today.
Like, look. And so London like watched the whole she sat there and watched the whole clip. I still was just on. I'm still like, I'm walking around.
I was like, no, this is fire. They used the whole minute and a half of the song, like basically the whole song.
Like used the whole song, and I'm like really sitting here like, oh, it's in the scene, right? Like they pretty much developed the character. The irony, they said they were looking for Mac, and for those who know, I have a company, and my nickname back home is Mac, but I have a company, Mac Entertainment, and so. They're looking for Mac, and I'm like I'm into the scene. Yeah. Right? Like, cause this is what they have on Instagram. I'm like, yo, it's not just background music. Like it's actually they're looking for Mac. And so then as a scene is going on, they find Mac, Mac pulls up.
Shout out to Bryce.
Mac, shout out to Bryce. Like, so it was actually a part of the show. It wasn't just like they riding around listening to music. Right. It wasn't that. It was like really like a character development type of scene, And so then even that night, even watching the show, like I knew when it was about to come because they were actually talking about Mac before, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was really refreshing because once again, you don't know where it's going to be placed. Right. And my assumption, of course, is like, they go use the hook. 30 seconds, 15 seconds, maybe a clip. Like, so you're really interested in seeing how it's used. But it being on the Instagram page, and then here we are, like, I see several days later, they posted a behind the scenes. With the
music on the it's fire. It's really nice.
So it's
and that's goes back to what I was saying about Gabi and Whitney's placements because she don't know that your nickname is Mac or that you have your own company called Mac. Right. And like she also probably didn't know like that's what was going on with the scene. They're just placing the music. You know what I'm saying? So like for God to be making stuff like that happen, I feel like he's just so intertwined and like, see, this is from me. Yep. Give me the glory.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's the first thing I did. And like I said, when you have that doubt, like, should I be doing something else? Right? You know what I'm saying? It just brings you back and say, yo, like, keep creating. Don't stop. Like, it's really like that. You need that extra push. Yes. Just that. It's the confirmation. Like like I said, we can having and when I say this to everyone, please understand, like, having faith is very important, right?
Yep.
But the things that keeps us in our flesh, or the carnally part of us, is that confirmation when it happens. That I think that adds on top of it. I think
Absolutely.
it keeps the faith going.
It keeps it going. It's
Yeah.
like you need like some gas in the faith tank.
Yeah,
You know what
like,
I'm
for
saying?
real, for real.
Like, because eventually, like, you know, you be running on that faith, and like if something don't happen, you
You be
start
like,
getting on E. You
easy,
start
yeah.
looking at God, like,
Yeah.
should I be changing
Yeah.
directions?
Yep.
And he just be sprinkling stuff in there, like, just to confirm,
Yep.
like, nah, this is
You-
your
you
path.
good, you good.
Keep your head down, keep working,
Yep.
keep trusting in me. I got you.
Yep.
And yeah, that's the beauty in the Will Trent placement for sure.
And it's so I'm looking at this as just a small drop, like I said, and I think the learning lesson even too from for myself before with Juju is even London saying, like, planning, and this is back in December, she's like, hey, I think you should have a watch party, you should do this. So doing those things, taking those lessons. We've shot a video, I have promo clips together, you know what I'm saying, like, so the preparation to keep this thing going. So y'all stream and download,
Make that money
you
by
know
Mogul
what I'm
Mal,
saying? Yeah.
available on all digital streaming platforms. And tell them where they can find you on social media, your website, all
Yep.
that stuff.
MOGULMAL.com, mogulmal.com, Mogul Mal on all social medias, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's all the
Yes,
same.
all of that,
So
yes.
we keep it very simple. Tap in with me, and let's build.
Wow, what an amazing episode. I want to give a huge thank you to you, Mogul Mal, for joining us today and sharing your incredible journey of faith and music. Wow, his story is such a powerful reminder that when we align our decisions with faith, amazing doors can open, just like they did for us, with placements on ESPN, Will Trent, and more. And to you, my wonderful viewers, thank you for tuning in and being a part of this community. Whether you're here for the inspiring stories, the faith-filled insights, or the tips to level up your music career, I'm so grateful for your support. This week, we dove into the idea of preparation, preparing not just for what we are praying for, but for the purpose God has tied to our blessings. I hope this challenged you to reflect and take steps toward becoming a good steward of what you have now and what's to come. Remember, this show isn't just about me or my guests. It's about us growing together. If you have questions, ideas, or topics you'd like us to cover, be sure to submit them for the Cousins Corner on my website, www.londonelixir.com/show. Your input shapes this space. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. God's plans for you are bigger than whatever you're imagining. Trust Him, prepare for the blessings, and be ready to step boldly into the opportunities He provides. Make sure to follow me on social media at London Elixir, that's ELIXIR, on TikTok and Instagram. Join my Patreon for exclusive content and playback access. And if today's episode inspired you, share it with a friend. It could be just the encouragement they need. Until next time, remember, faith works when you do. Keep the faith, keep creating, and keep believing. See you next week on the London Elixir Show.